Hi friends, this is Grandmaster and Marcos for ChessFriends.com. This is my first video for this site, and the topic of this video will be what do the extraordinary strong players different from average players. Usually people think that strong GMs have some mysterious capability to calculate long lines, or that they have superb opening preparation, or they have some more or less magic skills. This is right to some extent. Strong grandmasters usually have good opening preparation, or they really do calculate well, but the main difference is their deeper understanding of the strategy of chess, of the game of chess. And I would like to show this on one game. The game is Mosesian Miezis from the 38 Olympiad, which was played in 2008. Sergei Mosesian is Super GM over 2-7 from Armenia, but at the time he was playing for Slovakian national team. So he was my colleague. And Mr. Norman Miezis is a Latvian GM, a very experienced player. Okay, so let us start. Let us see some first moves. So we have e4, c5, knight f3, e6, knight c3, a6. And now we would expect that Mosesian would play d2, d4 and go for some open Sicilian, but he didn't do that. He played g3. So what does this mean when a strong player plays like this, such a humble move? Well, if I were black, I would decode this as a try to avoid any preparation of my preparation, or preparation of the opponent, and the weight of the fight will be postponed into the middle game. So g3, trying to get some complex middle game and overplay the opponent there. Okay, basically white makes g2, g3 because he has problems to get his bishop somewhere out, because on c4 it would be vulnerable. On d3, it of course hinders the d2 pawn. So the move bishop e2 is too humble. So that's why white makes g2, g3. Okay, and now comes already the first interesting moment, because black plays d7, d5. And I would call this move dubious. Why? Why should be such a apparently logical move dubious? Well, the thing is that black played the move a7, a6, which doesn't help development too much, or it doesn't help development at all, in fact. And he's black as well, so he is more or less 2 tempi behind. 1 tempi because he's black, and 1 tempi because he played a7, a6. Whereas white played knight f3, knight c3, g2, g3, all these moves are developing moves. So it is slightly illogical to play d7, d5, and open the position when black is behind development. So white greets that, he takes on d5, takes on d5, and now d4, of course, because some bishop g2, d4 makes it much more complicated for white to open the position. So white makes d4, and now this is no Sicilian anymore. As in many modern openings, or as in many modern games, actually we somehow got into another opening. Well, black played bishop knight f6, white bishop g2, knight c6, castling. So this moves very logical. And now, what to do with black? I think that Miessis had quite a difficult time to decide, because some normal moves like bishop e7, the move bishop e7 leads to another loss of a tempo, because now black has to take on c5, and he made this route from f8 to c5 in 2 moves instead of in 1 move. So bishop e7 is not ideal. Now we can have a look at bishop e6. This is not ideal as well, because white has sometimes, I'm not sure if now, but bishop g5 might be, knight g5 might be a good move, making the bishop on e6 very vulnerable. So I think that the Miessis idea was to overprotect forever the g5 square, so that neither bishop nor knight appears on this square, and he's preparing the move bishop e6. The move bishop e6. But still, the move h7, h6 is a mistake, because black is already behind development, and he makes a move which doesn't help development too much. So what would be the best reaction for black in this position? I'm strongly convinced that the correct move is c5. Oh, sorry. The correct move is c5, c4. Keeping the position as close as possible. That's the first point. And secondly, with the move c5, c4, you can make some use of the move a7, a6, because you can play b7, b5. Maybe not now, but in the middle game. So now the move a7, a6 gets at least some meaning. Well, so black played h6. White gave a check. That's very natural. And black played bishop e6. So, based on the very abstract strategic rules, white should be much better here, because he is much better developed. But this is one side of the coin. The second side of the coin is that you have to have skills to use such an advantage. So you can test yourself now and think which move you would make for white now. So please stop the video and take a minute or two, and then we will continue. Okay, so maybe you have decided on your move now. So what is the strongest move here? We can try to follow the thinking pattern of Sergei. Clearly, black's biggest problems is the king. Is the king on e8, because he hasn't castled yet, and actually needs 2 moves to castle. And the biggest protector of this king is the bishop on e6. So it's very logical to try to get the bishop on e6 away. And the only move which actually attacks bishop on g6 is the move Moses played, and that's bishop g2, h3. So I'm not sure if you have found this move or not. It depends, maybe on the style of the player. In a way, this is an extremely logical move, because we are trying to kick black on the square where it hurts most. On the other hand, it's a very illogical move, because we are playing with an already developed bishop on g2, and also in a way weakening your own king's position, because you are playing a move with a fianchetted bishop. And also the h3 square is in a way an invisible square for many players. It's not a square where bishops usually go, let's say. But once made, it's an extremely logical move. And this is how the play of extremely strong players quite often looks like. Once made, the moves look extremely easy and logical, but still they are quite difficult to find. We will see another example of this interesting phenomena later in the game. Okay. This took on d4, which is also quite a dubious move because it helps developing the f3 knight. Not the f2 pawn actually, but f3 knight, yes. Better is to play bishop e7, and after taking on e6, rook takes e6, making castle, and now white is a pawn up, but still black can hope for a glimpse of compensation because of the weakened position of the white king, because on g2 there is no bishop. So, but it's quite difficult psychologically to decide to give up a pawn in such an early stage of the game. So black decided to fight with equal material for the moment. Okay. So white took on d4, and black took once more because otherwise the e6 square is collapsing. White took queen takes d4, and black plays queen d7. d7. So once again, white has a nice position. He's pressing, but as Steinitz already said, when you have an advantage, you have to press and attack, otherwise the advantage gets lost. And moreover, you have to be smart when attacking, not doing easy, not doing any moves, but doing the most effective moves. So this position is, this moment is perhaps the only moment in the game when Sergei played the second best move. He played bishop f4. It's a flashy active move, but it's not as useful as it could be. Actually, the apparently weaker bishop d2, or humbler at least, the bishop d2 is much better, because after the strongest defense, rook c8, with the idea of bishop c5, and castling, gets refuted now with rook takes e6, or maybe bishop takes e6, doesn't matter too much, bishop takes e6, queen takes e6, and rook e1. Now the bishop on d2 covers the e1 square, so this is possible, and makes the taking on e6 possible, and after queen takes e1, bishop takes e1, white is more or less won, because he's a pawn up, and second pawn is hanging, and black has no development, so this is more or less won for, his king is still in the center, so this should be more or less won for white, quite easily. Well, but Sergei played bishop f4, and Norman Zmierzis again plays a second-rated move. This one looks very logical, but it's not the best. He played bishop e7, much more stubborn was rook c8, with the idea of bishop c5. With the idea of bishop c5. The difference from the game, as we will see, is that the rook on c8 is also able to cover the bishop on e6 from the c6 square. So while bishop e7 only activates one piece, rook c8 activates two pieces, the bishop on f8 and the rook on c8. So black played bishop e7, and now we have a second checkpoint. Again, you can stop the video and try to think about what your next move would be. Okay, so here we are again. Have you found rook takes e6? Rook takes e6 is again, once made, it's a very logical sacrifice because when white has to decide which piece comes to e6, he would perhaps decide on having the bishop on e6, because from e6 the bishop controls both g8 and c8, imprisoning a black king on e8 in the center forever. Moreover, taking on e6 with the rook spares the tempo. Spares the tempo because the second rook on e1 comes immediately into the fight. So rook takes e6 is a very logical move, but on the other hand, it's a difficult move to make because you have to fight against the prejudice of giving up some material. When I was speaking to Sergei, because this was played in a match where I played as well, I spoke to Sergei after the game, and he said that he didn't calculate this much. He said that he simply checked that the bishop comes to e6 and felt that the compensation will be tremendous. Also because of the okay, we can go maybe some more moves. Now black played rook d8 and white rook, and the compensation is based on the bad king, of course, and also on the weakness of the g6 square and on the entire complex of the white squares, because now black has no white squared bishop, and also these pawns on g7 and h6 have problems to cover any of the white squares. So white is now the complete ruler of white squares, and this position is easily won for white models. Because basically white also has a pawn for the exchange, so he's got like his materially he's like pawn down, and the compensation is much more than the pawn. So white should be winning. Queen c6. Queen c6. Good. Now white played queen e5, which is again looks like an interesting move, but it's nice to see what's the idea behind it. So how did Sergei think in this position? I would suggest such a pattern of thinking. White is well developed, and black's king is in the center, and therefore some attack on this king should be decisive. But there still is one piece in the white's camp which doesn't do its work on 100%. It's not the king on g1, but it's the knight on c3. And this knight can be, when this knight comes closer to the e8, to the king on e8, this will be the end of the game. So Sergei plans something like this. This would help white to strengthen the white's attack tremendously. So white plays queen e5. The idea is to threaten on e7, of course, but also to prepare to do something with the c3 knight. So that's how white came to the move queen e5. It wasn't calculating lines, long lines or something, it was pure chess logic. Okay, black went away with his king, at least one square, and white made knight d2, queen d6. Now Mosesian went away, attacking the queen. That wouldn't be the best move. Now white attacks the queen, and black by g6, counter-attacking. Now I'm sure that if Karpov was white in this position, he would easily take or immediately take on d6, and after g takes d5 he would go back with bishop e5, and now the weak f5 pawn means that white gets the second pawn from the exchange, and moreover this horrible Hartatitla, Mr. horrible knight, comes either to e6 or g6, likely taking the exchange back. So white will be more or less 2 pawns up, which is easy win, of course. So this is how I would say Karpov or Smyslov would play. But Sergei is an attacking player. He's an attacking player, and he decided to go away with the queen, and he tries to win the game with a direct attack. Black played queen d4, at least some counterplay. White makes c3, and black queen e4. Maybe more stubborn was to take on b2. But Miezis wanted to keep his queen as close to his king as possible. And now white played another interesting move, bishop d2. Bishop d2. And now let's repeat the last 4 moves of white again. White played knight e2, which is a move backwards. Then he played queen h3, which is again a move backwards. And at the end he played bishop d2, again back. This is how strong players play chess? Well, apparently yes. Usually club players or amateur players think that when you are attacking you have to get pieces to opponent's king as quickly as possible, and that these backward moves have no place in attacking schemes. But this is not right, actually. What counts is the idea behind the moves, not the appearance of the moves. So the idea of white is, or was, from this moment, was to get this knight closer. Get this knight closer to black's king. This is what counts, nothing else. Because the other pieces of white are able to travel long distances very quickly. But the knight is a piece with a very short stride, so we need it closer. The other pieces, they will come very quickly to black's king. So that's the idea. So strong players hold their idea or stick to their ideas very, very stubbornly. Okay, bishop d2, and now the white knight on e2 will join the fight very quickly. Okay, so black played h5, not a good move, but hopeless people do hopeless things. Knight d4, queen d3, bishop g5. So now all white's pieces join the attack, and this should decide the game very quickly. Black played h4, as I said, hopeless people do hopeless things. And now we will have the third and last checkpoint. So this is a position where the purely strategic stuff is not so important, because the pieces are in close contact, and what's important is tactics, and now the calculation will be of some importance. So please take your time, 1, 2, 3, 5 minutes, as much you want, and try to find the most effective and at the same time, I would say, the prettiest move for white in this position. It's actually quite a move. So please. Okay, here we are again. What have you found? Well, the knight on d4 still has one more move to its full beauty. So we need to get the bishop on e6 from its way. So Sergei played bishop c8, which is fair enough. This connection between the bishop and the knight from such a distance makes quite an aesthetic impression. But actually, there is a much prettier move, which is bishop d7. Bishop d7, because now the bishop can be taken with the rook, and also can be taken with the knight. And on d7, it stands in the way of the rook, which wants to come to d6. So this is immediately decisive. Very nice move. But anyway, bishop c8 is good enough. Rook d6, knight d6 check. So here comes the knight. King f7, knight f4. This is matter of taste, more or less. And now queen c2 gives at least some glimpse of hope, but queen d2 is immediately, queen d2 is immediately losing, because the bishop keeps eye on the queen. So white took on e7, king e7, knight g6, king d8, bishop d2, and now black played some more moves, so he doesn't get to some book on quick wins, but had to resign anyway. So what have we seen in this game? We were looking for an answer on an eternal questions: what do the strong or extraordinarily strong players differently so that they are strong players? And the answer, in my opinion, is yes, they do calculate quite well. Yes, they are prepared quite well, but actually they are able to find better moves than the apparently nice moves. They are able to grasp the essence of the position, to find what's really important, not only what looks important. And that's how they overplay another players. So again, as a very, very quick review. So this bishop h3 is such a move which grasps the essence of the position. Now then here the rook takes e6 instead of bishop takes e6 is also a move against some superficial strategic ideas, like you should keep material equal. Also, this maneuver is this knight e2 and everything backwards is something what doesn't look nice, but it's hugely effective. So this ability to surpass the appearance and to get to the essence, that's what makes the difference between strong and really, really strong players. Okay, this was Jan Marcos from Slovakia for ChessFriends.com. I'm looking forward to the next video which I will make for you. Okay, have a nice day. Bye bye.